everybody, it's Sierra, Onyx's daughter. Today's video, I've got for you an interview of David Schmidt, which we always love, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe to my mom's channel if you haven't already, and enjoy the video.
Let's welcome to the program, David. Nice to have you. Hi.
Hi, Dr. Jacqueline. Hey, Annie. Thank you so much for having me, and really a pleasure, privilege to be with both of you today. Well, Annie, I suppose to answer your question, I always look to God and nature for answers. So when I begin a design process, a development process, it's always with the idea that we want to serve the greater good. And to me, there's no greater good than God and nature. So I'll begin the process with prayer, ask for divine guidance, and that the project will benefit people and humanity as a whole. So we look at technology first that will provide healing, primarily using light or electromagnetism. And we also look at technology that can clean up our planet and make the world a better place to live in, and also make technology more sustainable. So I love the video that you showed, and it's definitely something that would be of interest to us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. David, question I have for you. What you're doing is so important to every one of us, each and every one of us around the world. And the course of your journey, were there times when people were just not on board or in alignment? Because isn't that what we go through as somebody who has something amazing to offer, that there are people going, what are you doing? Did you ever have that? And if so, how did you persevere?
Yeah, only 100 times, probably more. Yeah, inventors are always going to go through the phase where they're rejected first. Anytime you have an idea that is different than mainstream, it's going to be tended to be criticized. And, so this is part of the development process, the process of innovation. And then, of course, one of the jobs of the inventor is to come up with the clinical evidence and the working prototypes. So you have something to show and say, hey, this is real. This is something that works. Here's the evidence. And then over time, it can be adopted and used for everyone's benefit. So as words of encouragement, I was able to do it. And if there's inventors out there today that have a new product or technology, I would just urge them to be persistent, not give up, and continue to pursue their dream.
Outstanding. Right. Thank you so much. Annie.
So speaking of new technology, let's dive right in. Can we start with the X39?
Sure thing. So X39 is a phototherapy product. This is a new technology, and it will stimulate the skin with light. So this product looks like a patch, but it's not the type of patch that is going to put a drug or chemical or vitamin into your body. This technology is non-transdermal, meaning that the patch contains materials that, when activated by body heat, will stimulate the skin with very low levels of light. And as you indicated before, this is very similar to the process of how sunlight will cause our body to make vitamin D. This is referred to as photobiomodulation, but it simply means that when we stimulate the skin with light, we can produce a favorable biochemical change. And in this case, with a product that we have called X39, which we developed over a period of about 10 years, we're stimulating the skin with light to elevate something called copper peptide. This is a master signaling molecule in the body. It activates what's called the P63 gene, among other things, and this will cause stem cells to mobilize. So this is a product that will improve stem cell activity in the body and a whole host of benefits as a result.
So what happens when our stem cells get activated?
Well, a whole bunch of things that are really desirable. We have over 80 clinical studies. So when we make any claims about what a product does, we have substantiation for that. So the first thing is we did a number of clinical studies using blood samples, and this validated that within 24 hours of using this product, we could see 30 to 40% increases in copper peptide levels. Then we did metabolism studies. This one was using urine collection, and the analysis showed that using this product increased the metabolic rate. We saw elevated levels of protein synthesis. So this simply means when you wear the patch, your body heals faster. You could heal faster from an injury. You could recover faster after exercise. We saw improvements in energy. We saw improvements in the quality of sleep. Of course, we're doing most of our repair at night. And notably, we saw improvements in cognitive function. We had a separate study with Dr. Gaetan Chevalier using a P3 EEG system. And we showed that in as little as 3 weeks of using the product and activating stem cells, there were remarkable improvements in brain coherence, short-term, long-term memory, and even the speed at which a person would process information. So this is exciting because this study was done with people over the age of 60, and we showed that we could reverse age-related cognitive decline.
Woohoo! Love it. Standing ovation, by the way.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Functional neurologists are like standing up and cheering.
Well, this is, this is something everyone should be concerned about, is how well is their brain performing. And there, of course, are a number of ways nutritionally that we can do this. And so people, of course, should be focusing on having a healthier diet, getting regular exercise, using supplementation where necessary. But when we hit the limits of what we can do, we can turn to new technology like these products and get results that are above and beyond what we could normally achieve with just nutrition.
Right. And in my work as a brain health coach, we typically we do DNA panels and we do volumetric MRI. So we see where the shrinkage is in the brain, and knowing that there are stem cells in the brain that can be reactivated, then this is just so promising for folks that are starting. I mean, if you're just starting to notice that you're missing words and forgetting people's names, this is the time to really start paying attention, because it means that shrinkage has been occurring for a while already.
Yeah, and we first started this work more than 10 years ago. We did a clinical study with Dr. Tom Budzinski, who's very well known in the field of biofeedback and neurology. And we used a product that would, with light, would elevate carnosine levels. So carnosine is a dipeptide. It's found principally in muscle tissue, in the heart, and also in the brain. And we found that within 30 days of elevating carnosine, we could significantly improve cognitive function in people over the age of 60. So over a period of 10 years, then we looked at, well, how could we extend this into activating stem cells? So we began looking at copper peptide. And what was so interesting is that copper peptide resets thousands of genes in the body to a more youthful state. As a result, one of the things that happens is that there is an increase in GABA levels in the brain. And so it probably wasn't surprising that within the first week of using the product, most people were seeing an improvement in the quality of their sleep. But the question is, why would a product that activates stem cells increase GABA? Well, as it turns out, GABA elevates BDNF, and BDNF is a regulator of stem cell activity in the brain. So as it turns out, we can use copper peptide to increase BDNF levels, and as a result, increase stem cell activity in the brain, and as a result, improve our overall cognitive function and health of the brain. So this is really exciting. for people that are faced with the challenge of aging, which is all of us, but more significantly, what do we do to reverse normal age-related cognitive decline and not have issues with our memory? And now there are solutions.
This is really exciting. And I just want to ask a question about inflammation, if that's okay, because I know the X39 also helps reduce inflammation. I have 3 autoimmune diseases, and I lead a support group of others who have the same. So how can you help with this?
Well, we started this research back in 2005, where we were looking at how to produce a product that bioelectrically would reduce pain and inflammation. And we produced a product called LifeWave. We had 18 separate clinical studies on this product. And essentially what it does is it stimulates the skin with light. It's 2 patches that you apply around an injury. And what we found through our clinical studies is that this would normalize tissue conductivity and restore communications. So there's no resistance that causes feedback where the brain perceives this as pain. And as a consequence, this is also not an analgesic. We're not masking pain. We're reducing inflammation. We began further research into looking at how we could increase intracellular antioxidants such as glutathione and SOD that would act as natural anti-inflammatories. And we were also successful with that research. With X39, it works a little bit differently in the sense that copper peptide does not in and of itself reduce inflammation. It alters gene expression to cause a reduction in elevated levels of inflammation. So we need a level of oxidative stress in our body that's normal to the immune system. We need inflammation in our body so we can tear down damaged tissue and make way for new cells. But it's when we get older or we have a chronic health condition, an autoimmune disorder, that levels of oxidative stress and inflammation can become elevated and damage healthy tissue. So by using light therapy, we can increase the production of antioxidants like glutathione and SOD and have these natural anti-inflammatories that are going to protect ourselves and also extend our health span. So staying healthy longer.
I am very excited to hear this information. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge concern. We want to keep people as young for as long as possible. And also much of our research has been to reverse human aging. But an important part of that is quality of life. So it's very important to us as a company that we provide natural solutions for pain relief and to support the overall health of an individual. So reducing inflammation has been a cause of the business now since almost the very beginning.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that I don't have to rely on Botox as the only thing for younger looking. I can be younger inside as well.
Yeah. It's our studies. What our company is 10 times the size it was in 2018 because of the rapid growth due to this product. But what's great about it is that when you're activating stem cells, it is, of course, one of the things that stem cells do that's great is that they will increase collagen production, the primary protein in the body. And of course, this is part of the cell's cytoskeleton. Most people, of course, when they hear collagen, they think a reduction in lines and wrinkles. And this is one of the beneficial effects of our product. But to your point, while it's nice to get the benefit of firmer, tighter skin, inside we need collagen to support the overall health and structure of the cell. And as a consequence, our body is healthier and works better. So this is one of the important parts of activating stem cells is to increase collagen production, which will begin to decline actually by around age 25. So if we can restore collagen production to more youthful levels, will gain not only benefits for our skin, but benefits to our overall health.
This is
There you
great
go.
news.
And the other thing that declines as we get older is our amount of muscle that we have. And I hear that you have a solution for that too.
Yes, that is, of course, called age-related sarcopenia or muscle loss. And depending on the individual, their level of activity, we could lose up to 1% of our muscle after the age of 30. And so it's so important that people maintain a diet that's rich in protein and healthy fats and a program of regular resistance training, right? So doing things like walking is fine, especially if someone hasn't exercised in a while, but doing calisthenics, yoga, Pilates, weightlifting, any of those type of activities are important because we need to maintain muscle strength and bone density. But what happens over time, like the rest of the body, the muscle fibers, the quality of the muscle fibers will change, and maintaining strength and stamina becomes more difficult. So we worked on developing solutions so that people could maintain a quality of life. And this means to have a better, faster way of increasing strength and stamina without having to rely on anabolic hormones like testosterone or growth hormone. So we produced a product that elevates AHK in the body. This is a alanine, histidine, lysine peptide. And interestingly enough, this peptide is typically associated with hair growth. And it's also been found in some skincare products. But what we found in our research is that since you find alanine metabolism in the heart, the brain, and the muscle tissue, we wanted to specifically pioneer new research which would ask the question, can we increase alanine metabolism and stem cell activity in the muscle tissue with this peptide, even though it hadn't been previously identified in the literature? And so we worked with a population of people over the age of 60. We even had men in their 70s that were in this study. And we found that we could as much as double strength and stamina over a 60-day period of time of using this product without any supplements, without any special type of diet, and with very mild exercise. So this is an entirely new way to activate stem cells and improve alanine metabolism in the muscle tissue for gains in strength and stamina. And what we found is that even people over the age of 60 and 70 can get very significant improvements in strength and stamina in a very short period of time.
Double the increase. And you know what, I really appreciate that you're using folks that are in their 60s and in their 70s, you know, not 20 and 30-year-olds.
Yeah, I'm about to turn 59, so this is an important subject
too.
for me. This is an important subject for me, and so this is when we look at what's happening with the population. We have a goal as a company that we want people to stay active and healthy for as long as they want. So, as a business owner, the type of things that I would think about is if you have people in their 60s, their 70s, and above, they have a lifetime of experience in their field. And given that we spend so much time on research, I would love to hire an engineer that's in their 70s, that's still young, healthy, active, and has their complete cognitive function so that they can make a contribution. So this is one of the reasons why we do this research, is that we don't want people to be a burden on society. We want to free them from the constraints that we would normally associate with aging and give people the option of staying active for as long as they want to. So that's what we see with this tech.
I know, I'm smiling ear to ear. David, go ahead, Annie.
I was going to say, I love that the X39 not only helps grow muscle tissue, but it helps preserve what you have. Because a lot of our population that is older is very sedentary. Until we can get them where they're up and exercising and starting to build muscle on their own, at least they're not losing what they have.
Yeah, and fortunately, we have technology available to us today that wasn't available, let's say, 10 or 20 years ago. So what we found is that with very mild exercise, so if you took someone that was, let's say, in their 60s or 70s, they hadn't exercised in a while because they were sedentary and they just want to get started again, then this program of using X39 could help them recover muscle tissue that they had lost to age very rapidly. We've explored other things as well, such as blood flow restriction training, where for someone over 60, they could use a very, very low amount of weight and exercise during a very short period of time. And then, of course, get the benefit of the stem cell activation along with natural increases in growth hormone for even more rapid gains in strength and stamina. So we look at how we can take some of that tech and combine it with ours.
This is a fascinating discussion, and I want to make sure that we also get to something we talked about before the show started that was really highlighted in that clip that we saw about taking care of our planet. And I know that this is an item that is big on your agenda as well. Can you share more with our audience about that, David?
Certainly. So we have been successful in our clinical studies at reversing part of the human aging process. And our goal over the next 3 to 5 years is to introduce these new technologies out to market so people can benefit from them. So as we start to achieve these goals that we set out many years ago, then the question is, well, what kind of planet are we living in, and what can we do as a company, given the enormous success that we've had, to give back? And so one of the technologies that we have developed and patented is a new method to accelerate the growth rate of plants without any type of genetic modification. We do this electromagnetically. And with one of the things that we research is phytoplankton. And phytoplankton is an important part of the food chain because it's responsible for most of the oxygen in our environment. So the opportunity is that we could take this technology, put the tech on platforms over the ocean, increase the phytoplankton colonies by several times greater than they are today. And the phytoplankton will use as food the CO2 in the ocean water that is causing acidification of the ocean. And as a byproduct, will put oxygen back into the environment. So once we complete this work, this will be a method that will contribute to reduction in greenhouse gases, increase in oxygen in the environment, and a decrease in global warming. So this is something that we're doing not to make money. It's completely philanthropic, and it's one of our ways that we want to give back, and for ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, leave them a cleaner and healthier planet.
We have to applaud that. What does it feel like to be at the helm in this position of such? You're a hero. What does that feel like?
I don't think of myself that way. I think it's important in life to destroy the ego, and this is in the work of David Hawkins. He would talk about that. The ego can really do a lot of damage to someone. So when I invent, I think I'm over 130 patents now. When I invent, I tend to think of my inventions as my kids, instead of that was something that I did. And I also channel the information through prayer. So I don't want to take credit for something that God did. So I would just tend to think of this as one of the people involved in the process, and I'm happy that I get to be participating in the process. And I'm grateful that this is the way that I get to spend my time. So I would rather almost not take credit for it, and just give credit to God, and just think of these as my kids.
Well, I'm certainly glad that God is working through you, because you actually have put it into movement. You've done something incredible. You're doing incredible things. We've got a comment, by the way, from Diane Floyd Bain. Wow, regaining muscle tissue. Thank you. This is exciting news. Thank you, Diane. Diane's one of our team members here at USA Global TV.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is exciting. You know, we see with our clinical studies how when people finish with them, the studies can be anywhere. We've done studies over a period of a week to several years. And what's always fun is that when the studies finish up, people say to us, well, how can I continue using the product? I got such great benefits with it. Where do I get this? So it's really, that's a little bit unusual, and it's really rewarding. And yeah, the more that we do this work and we have outreach to improve people's quality of life, we just keep growing and spreading. And because the company's been successful, it allows us to take on these philanthropic projects at improving the quality of life here on the planet. So that's ultimately our goal. You know, we want to be involved in clean energy, clean water, cleaning up pollution. And I'm happy to say that this is not a technology problem. It's really more a matter of political will. The tech required to clean up the garbage in the ocean, dispose of the garbage where we're not having it go to the ocean or over into landfill, providing clean energy. All of these technologies exist today. So it's a matter of governments having the will to really implement them. And I hope that things are going in the right direction.
And adding to cleaning up our planet, can we talk a little bit about cleaning up our bodies? And some of the most fascinating research, and you talked about the research you've done, is regarding glutathione. So can you talk about glutathione for a little bit?
Yeah, certainly. So glutathione is something we've been researching since 2006. And for those people listening today that have never heard of glutathione, it is the body's master antioxidant. And that means this antioxidant, like vitamin C, vitamin A, is found throughout the body. And it has the unique property of being able to recycle other antioxidants. So, for example, if you take a vitamin C supplement and you keep your glutathione levels elevated, once the vitamin C gets used, glutathione will recycle the vitamin C and make it active again. Glutathione is found to be the antioxidant that protects our hearing. It is found in very high concentrations in the liver and part of our natural detoxification pathways. And an important reason to keep our glutathione levels elevated is that it's used as part of our immune system and will also help rid our body of toxins. So glutathione is what's known as a chelating agent. Chelation is a Latin term meaning claw. And so glutathione will literally attach to toxins in the body and pull them out. So by elevating glutathione, what we can do is detoxify our body, protect ourselves, protect our immune function, and protect our hearing, our eyesight, our brain, and keep inflammatory stress in check. So even our overall lifespan is directly correlated to our body's levels of glutathione. So there are a lot of reasons why we want to keep glutathione levels elevated.
And can you touch on the difference between taking glutathione, activating your own body's ability to produce glutathione versus taking it in a supplement, liposomally, trisomally, through an IV, all the other delivery systems for glutathione?
Yeah, so every method of elevating glutathione has its kind of positives and negatives. And so we need to look at kind of the complete picture. One reason, I know we're kind of coming out of COVID, but there were studies that were done showing that N-acetylcysteine, otherwise known as NAC, could help reduce many of the severe symptoms of COVID-19. So everyone should be on an NAC supplement and a vitamin D supplement and some others to help protect themselves against COVID. But the traditional way of elevating glutathione with supplements is to use something like NAC. We can get the amino acid cysteine, which is required to make glutathione from some dairy products. We can get glutathione from consuming eggs and milk, whey protein. So people that are vegans or vegetarians should be supplementing with NAC or cysteine. But the downside to this is that it takes a very long time to elevate glutathione. Supplementing with a cysteine supplement may only elevate glutathione by about 14% if you take it once per day over a 30-day period of time. So it's very difficult to elevate glutathione. Our approach was to stimulate the body with light. So just like you could elevate vitamin D and testosterone very quickly with light, we take the same approach with glutathione. We stimulate the skin with very low levels of light with our technology. And what we found in our clinical studies was that glutathione levels go up as much as 300% over baseline just within 24 hours. So this means that using light therapy, we can very rapidly elevate glutathione. And this means we get faster detoxification and, of course, protection for our overall health and immunity.
So just to summarize for our audience, we can't treat our body sort of like a trash dumpster, like what we saw in the ocean with all the trash, and then just take a bunch of supplements and that's going to clear everything up, right?
Yeah, that's correct. This really starts with people creating a foundation. So, we're at the beginning of the year. This is a good time for people to be honest with themselves and look at what food are they consuming? Are they drinking enough water? Are they hopefully not consuming too much alcohol? Are they staying away from things like excessive amounts of drugs and cigarettes that we know are going to be harmful? Are they exercising regularly? And then are we using supplementation and technology to further improve our health? So if we are responsible about our diet, our personal healthcare products, we're still going to get in toxins from breathing in air and also drinking water, which could be contaminated. So in clinical studies, of course, 100% of the population has plastics, heavy metals, pesticides in our body. So it's inescapable. So we want to keep our environment as clean as possible and then use technology and elevate things like glutathione to remove these toxins before they can cause serious health problems. And the health problems associated with accumulated toxins are significant.
Thank you so much, David. Appreciate that.
And you mentioned new technology. Can you give us any hints as to what LifeWave is up to in the future? Maybe future patches, some new technology?
Well, we have both. We do have future patches and we do have other technology. Our focus is on reversing the human aging process. I'm happy to say that we have done this in human beings, both on a partial level and otherwise. What this means is we've done clinical studies where we take measurements of aging with things like telomeres, and we found ways to lengthen telomeres on average by 8.5% in only 6 months. So this correlates to many years of age reversal in only a few months. And we have other tech that will help to get us there. But our goal as a company in the next 3 to 5 years is to release new technology that people can use to reverse human aging and stay as young and healthy for as long as possible. I think that's a good way to summarize it.
Well, I have to say we're all cheering you on. We've got another comment from Leslie Mitchell. Wow, great information and promising hope for us all. Thank you,
Yeah,
Leslie.
and this is important, right? Because it's our hope is that this is something more than just vanity. That the reason to do this is that if people are staying younger longer, they begin to ask, okay, I'm going to be living longer. How can we be responsible for the planet? And so I'm hoping this is going to cause a change in mindset, and it could have a number, I think, of very important effects. We think about our relationships with other countries. Maybe there's not as much war. Maybe we're cleaning up our environment, and humanity can have a happy ending. So as opposed to the direction that we seem to be heading in. But we don't really have any choice if we're going to survive as a species. We have to clean up the environment, and we have to start treating one another very differently and realize we're all human beings and we're all in this together.
So well said.
Beautifully.
We could keep you here forever.
I know.
The question I'll ask, the last question, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but can you share with our audience, what is that behind you? What are those figurines that we're seeing there? What do they mean to you?
Well, I have been a fan of Iron Man since I was about 7 years old, because before it became popular, I guess, in pop culture. And of course, Tony Stark is an inventor and a superhero and a successful entrepreneur. So I identify with Iron Man. I would like to be a billionaire inventor that goes out and helps people. So I think I'm on my way. And but yeah, I keep these here to remind me that my goal is to help as many people as possible, and my first love is being an inventor.
Thank you for sharing that. I have to say, what I find so incredible is that you have an incredible intelligence, right? You're obviously highly intelligent. You're an inventor. You're somebody who cares about other people. You care about this planet, and you have this amazing connection with God, and you're humble and you're real. And I think that's a beautiful combination.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I appreciate that.
And thank you for being on the show to be able to spread your message.
Oh, thank you. It's my privilege. Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Dr. Jacqueline and I talk about this a lot, that we are but messengers, right? And our purpose is to co-create with each other. And having you on here today was to get the message out. That
Absolutely.
that we could get younger so that we could be here longer to take better care of this planet and each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor, and I'd be happy to come back anytime you like.
I love to hear that. That was going to be my next question. So thank you so much, David. We'd love to have you back.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers. Take care.